Good morning, class. Today I want to show you how to make a simple omelet. This is what you're going to be doing for your lab. We have 2 eggs beaten, and to that we are going to add approximately 1 tablespoon of milk. We are then going to take our whisk and whisk it thoroughly. At this time, if you wanted to add some herbs or some salt and pepper, that is an option, or you can choose to wait until after the omelet is cooked and season it on your own later. I want you to also notice that when we have dirty utensils, we're not sitting them on the counter, we're sitting them on a plate. That makes cleanup a little easier. When you make your omelet, it's going to be really important that you heat your pan. We're going to start with a medium-high heat between number 6 and 7, and when we are ready to cook, and only then, we're going to take the pan and we're going to spray it lightly with some vegetable or canola oil spray. And then we're going to use our rubber scraper to scrape this into our pan. As it cooks, I'm going to take the rubber scraper and kind of move the egg around. And the reason we're going to do that is so it cooks more evenly. That way it's not going to be really overly brown on the bottom. If you feel like your egg is getting done too quickly, that's a sign for you to adjust your heat. If it's not, doing anything, move the heat up a little bit, but you are to not ever cook on high. What's going to happen is before your omelet's done, the outer edge is going to be overly browned. One technique you can use also is to lift the edge, tip the pan so that raw egg falls beneath, and then it gets done without overly browning. Okay. We might take a little time now to put the cover on and let it cook and solidify, so flipping it's going to be easier. Otherwise, here's what you can do. We have a non-stick finish pan, so we have to use a plastic flipper. When we believe the egg is ready to turn, what we can do is put the plastic flipper underneath on one side and the rubber scraper on the other, and simply turn it like this. And then it'll cook on the other side. I'm going to put the heat low because we don't want it to overcook on the bottom. Now, if you have some cooked sauteed onion and pepper, you can add that. You can also add tomato. This tomato we've seasoned with some Italian seasoning, a little salt and pepper. And then finally, we can grate some cheese. If you're grating the cheese, use this side of the grater to do that. And then you're going to sprinkle that cheese on top evenly. And at this stage, I would recommend literally turning the heat off altogether and just letting whatever's on the, whatever heat is emanating, let that finish the melting of the cheese. Now let's say though, it's just not melting, because if you use cheddar, it's not going to melt as quickly. Leave it. When you feel it's done, you can put it on your serving plate and then microwave it for a few seconds until the cheese is melted. But a lot of times, if you fold that omelet over, it's going to be, melted from the heat of the egg itself. So we're going to go get our plate. And again, we're going to pretend a little bit that it is really done and that this cheese really is melted. We're going to pour it on the plate and we're going to tip it. Notice when I added that cheese and those vegetables, I had literally turned the heat off. You may even have to take the pan off the heat completely. But as you can see, let me get that off, this is your omelet. When you make omelets for your lab group, you are going to have 2 people share 1 omelet. So I think that's enough for our video, but I want to review. For your test, we have 3 pieces of equipment you need to remember, and you need to remember the correct name. This is called a flipper or a turner. We must use plastic flippers or turners if we're working with nonstick finishes. This is a metal spatula. It's used for leveling off dry ingredients, cracking eggs. We also use it to spread frosting. And finally, this is a rubber scraper that's used to get things out of pans. And this is a whisk. We use that to beat our eggs before we made our omelet and put it in the pan. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time and attention and hope you enjoy your omelet.